Yo, right here in the small box. So in terms of what he did in the past year, he's done way more than any individual on this list. But why can't y'all accept that is my question. All of these individuals here, Don Toliver is an interesting case. Like I said at the beginning before I went live on YouTube, Don Toliver, I see him more hip hop adjacent. Looking at everybody else on this category, and then I see Don Toliver. I'm a huge fan of Octane. Gemstone is my favorite track on that project. Body is good too. That is a good, solid project for the kind of genre that he's in. The key word is genre. So aside from all the accolades and all of the accomplishments that Kendrick Lamar has stacked up in the previous year of 2025, a lot of people need to understand why we should be having this conversation right here. When are we going to finally upgrade our genres? When are we going to finally split up our genres correctly is my question, because that's the whole reason as to why this conversation is going viral, because it's correct from a hip-hop standpoint. It's absolutely correct. But what people also need to understand is that hip-hop today has numerous amount of subgenres. That's why I bring up Don Toliver. There are a lot of different subgenres that come under hip-hop today. But because they don't want to split it up, it makes the conversation a little confusing now. For some people, I know for us here, we're fine. I know for all of us here, we're fine because we understand the concept. We understand what's going on. We get it. We definitely get it. But the thing about this is that we need to actually split down these genres so we can correctly categorize people within their own category, so there's more opportunities for people to win. Because Don Toliver should definitely get a BET award, but we need to put him in the correct category so he can actually get that award, so he can actually get that achievement, that accomplishment. I'm looking at this. I feel like Baby Keem, Don Toliver, ASAP, the three of them, along with a couple other artists, should be in their own category. So you can have J. Cole, Drake, T.I., The Baby, Big X The Plug, and Kendrick in that category. What do he sing? You talking about Don Toliver? Okay, the thing about Don Toliver is that when it comes to his kind of music, it's not for the average folk. It is not. Don Toliver's music, it runs beside Travis Scott's music. It can run beside Playboi Carti's music. It's not too much of rage, but the aesthetic that comes with Don Toliver's style of rap is not the same as everybody else here. The distortions, the kind of effects, auto-tune that they use, we can happily say that should be its own category. I don't see why we can't do that. But we already know why, because the music industry just wants to feed off of hip hop. They don't necessarily want it to be super successful or anything. They're just trying to bleed money out of hip hop. That's what they do. They're bleeding money out the culture. But if they were to categorize each rapper into their proper category, I promise you, it will make all this shit more interesting. So when I go to individuals like Maul, commercially speaking, you might be right, but I still won't agree with you. Because what you also need to understand is that you, and alongside a bunch of your peers and anybody else that follows your idea, are a product of what the music industry wanted to create. And that was an ideal fan that can get behind what they put out. And you successfully became they puppet. That's what you're not getting. And I've said this, and I talked about it on this channel before, because a lot of the fans that you see on Twitter, regardless if it's like commercial, whatever, a lot of those people are a product of what the music industry has been pushing to them for years. You can put Aubrey, Young Thug, Gunna, Lil Baby. You can put all them individuals together in one category. That should be that own section of rap, commercial rap, if you want to make that a genre. If you really want to make that a genre. Me personally, I would not put that as a genre, but just to give y'all an idea. All right, so when I sit here and I hear Maul say a whole bunch of nonsense.
Very good space. Rap hip hop is in a dangerous space when we start talking about the next 15 years. Like, what is it going to look and sound like? Who are we going to be honoring?
I've been thinking about that. And honestly, like, I really was thinking, I was like, it's a chance that hip hop could kind of go extinct as we know it. It's headed in that direction. I
don't know about extinct, but it's definitely going to hip hop as we know it or knew it is going to change. Like the people we start on, like we came in and we talked about best male hip hop artist and Kendrick winning. Kendrick didn't put out much in the year that we talking about for this category to win. I think he put out a verse with Playboi Carti, maybe last year, something like that. GNX was 2024. That's 2 years ago. And he wins Best Male Hip Hop Artist of the Year.
Yeah.
That to me is saying like, all right, now we ain't even trying to hide it no more. Like, yo, Kendrick. But he didn't put nothing out in the fiscal year that we're talking about with this official 2026 BET Award show. You got guys like Don Toliver. We talking about that. Is that the quintessential hip hop? Is that rap?
Don't talk about Don Toliver now as if you've been listening or paying attention to his music, because we know what you ride. No, you know what's so crazy? And I've been noticing this a lot on Twitter, is that everybody talks about Don Toliver now as if y'all were always fans, but when he dropped his projects, y'all never showed up. That's doing a disservice to him. Y'all are the problem. Commercial rap fans really be the problem because y'all only want one way to work in hip-hop, and that's your way. And what you don't understand is that you guys been having your way for years, if not over a decade. It's been long overdue for a change, and that's exactly what's happening right now. But they don't get that part. Y'all are so greedy to keep things the same. You don't realize the destruction your own music that you like is doing to you. Y'all are begging for a song of the summer to the point where you're gonna make Young Miami's track Spend That be the song of the summer. What happened with Shebang? Did Shebang not do it for y'all? Was that not enough for you? The fact that y'all really ran to Young Miami and said, oh, nah, this the song of the summer. Sir, what? What? Are you serious? Is this what you wanted to do with yourself? Commercial rap fans are the problem. Y'all been so conditioned to love what you've been given. You don't even realize how do we want to put this? You don't realize that greed is the reason as to why music is very dim right now. Look at how many years we've been fed nothing but songs that we can accept. And I can be honest and sit here with y'all because before the battle, I looked at all of this completely differently. If not, I was on the opposite side. That was me pre-battle. Post-battle? Oh, nah. I understand now. I get both sides, but I prefer this side because this side is the foundation. So even if the other side crumbles, the foundation can rebuild. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Look at all these rappers that's been dropping projects over the years, the past 2 years, if you want to be specific. Look at all the projects we got. That's foundation right there. You use that to rebuild something new. That's why I appreciate Don Toliver way more than I appreciate a Travis Scott or a Playboi Carti. I understand Playboi Carti has his own fan base, the Vamps. Okay, y'all love what you love because y'all prefer to stand outside the box than to be within the conversation. That's cool. Stay where you are. But Don Toliver is a different kind of treasure because that's a foundation to bring in a different kind of rap for the future, for the younger generation. To be honest, I would rather the younger generation be more into Don Toliver than Playboi Carti. Not saying I don't like Playboi Carti music. He has songs I do like. But let's be honest, bro. That's just me personally. But going back on topic, just sitting here and just understanding this conversation that we're having right now is like, we need to restructure all of this. Remember when we used to talk about the industry and we talk about the systems the industry has, and the systems the industry has are at a point where it needs to be changed, where it needs to evolve? You need to do that for the genres. Look at metal. Look at the genre of metal and how many subgenres that comes with it. Can we not have a little bit more subgenres for hip hop so we can categorize our artists correctly, so we can award them and appreciate them better? Do you understand how much positive that would bring to the hip hop culture, to rap music, when we can start to categorize melodic rappers from any other style of rap and give our thanks and praise to them? Can we not do that? But what more can I say at this point? From what we've analyzed, looking at the categories of the 2026 nominees right here, it makes sense why Kendrick Lamar won. And like y'all said in the chat, what about Not Like Us? Not Like Us had a successful 2-year run, just like Back to Back. When Drake was on tour with his Back to Back going crazy for 2 years, Kendrick Lamar had his same 2 years with Not Like Us. You can add that to the list as to why Kendrick wins. It's just disappointing when I see some content creators that I do follow have conversations like this
while trying to celebrate / award them. Most likely, especially in the eyes of the jingle lovers and folks who are the rap version of election deniers. However, That's not what I'm mostly focused on here about what BET got wrong about the best male hip hop artist. I'm mostly focused about the part that I believe they did some
Sarah, it was
younger
amazing.
MCs, or at least a younger MC, a disservice. Listen, I get it. We're stuck in a big three verse. You know, ninjas want to make everything about the big three. When it comes to awards, they love looking at Kendrick first, right? I get it. People's champ and all that good stuff. And sometimes he's deserving, right? But in this case, where Kendrick has done nothing but mostly features in the last year and a half, I don't think you got this right. In fact, there's another gentleman by the name of Don Toliver I think you looked at here, celebrated, and given a chance to shine as one of the younger folks in this game. And here's the problem.
I'm kind of disappointed because I do follow this dude. I'm going to keep it honest with you. But this is wrong.
Really wanted to be stuck in a big three verse, Drake had projects in the last 2 years. I think even if you wanted to say, I guess, maybe looking at the beginning of 2026, you could have gave it to Cole as well if you wanted to force the whole big three conversations. But in this case, again, Don Toliver, I think, has been very active. It's had a record or two. Whether or not they are jingles, they are a very good record. And that's what most people really care about as far as the general public are concerned. There are a number of other people who are on the other ground as well, maybe a little older, that we could have spoke about here. I think Wale sometimes doesn't get enough credit for what he's been doing. I'm guilty of it as well. But here, when we just slap another award to Kendrick Lamar, and it's not like you are trying to bribe him to show up, it's not like Kendrick was lobbying for it, I think this was a little lazy. Again, I'm not saying you should just hand the award to the young MCs for pity, but when there are guys like Don Toliver, who I believe has put in...
You see what I'm talking about, bro? Everything that I talk about, now you hear that. Don Toliver should not be in this category. If Don Toliver was in another category with Keem, Big X, ASAP, that would be a different story. I would be looking at Baby Keem and Don Toliver, and I'll be like, between Baby Keem and Don Toliver, who should win this? Now, I personally think between Baby Keem and Don Toliver, if they were in another category together, I think Baby Keem would have won. Excuse me. But at the same time, I would not be confused or I would not be disappointed if Don Toliver won either. I am a fan of Octane. Octane is something like, you got to remember, I love rap. I love rap. I love different settings that you can listen to rap. I love the different moods or the different kind of energies that you can be in to listen to rap. And I completely understand. But for what Don Toliver's music is doing in the spaces a lot of people are not usually in, what, if you want to look at the dance community, if you want to look at club culture, party culture, Don Toliver to take that over knowing that Drake dropped Iceman? Come on, bruh. What are you talking about? Play Gemstone in the club. That shit would turn up. Straight. Like, Shebang is barely working. Let's keep it tall. Shebang sometimes works in Toronto. Sometimes. It doesn't always work. People request the songs. Don't do anything. They be dancing by themselves while everybody else around them is just standing, just talking with each other. That's what I see. Because remember, I'm a security guard. I be working in some of these spots. When they play something off of any of the projects, it's either they don't know it or they're only going to know what did I miss. That's it. What did I miss? It kind of works. It works more than Shebang. But Shebang was supposed to be the one that was supposed to work from that project. Didn't work. But if you play Gemstone or Body... Yup, that turn up easy. Come on. I don't like the conversations a lot of people are having. Y'all showing that you're following the program. Don't you realize the program is crumbling as we speak? Y'all are following something that's not working anymore. Now going back to Sarah's point where we're talking about they can't replicate Kendrick's style. That's the whole point. It's not about replicating. It's about creating more. But because the industry only wants to follow numbers, they only want to follow how much money they can get from such a small amount of work. That's why Drake works for them better. But not realizing that you use that formula for all these decades, you are burning your fans out to the point where they're bleeding, scratching their neck, trying to get something. Let's not forget them group of OV hoes on the Twitter spaces finally happy that they got a number one. And now we need to decide a song of the summer. Who said you got to decide it? It's supposed to come with the project. As soon as you hear the song, it's supposed to be undeniable. You're supposed to say, this the one. Y'all couldn't figure it out. Y'all had to make it happen. That's not a song of the summer. That's why they're celebrating Young Miami. That's absolutely crazy to me. So it all comes down to restructuring. It's getting to a point where you can't run from this no more. The more that you run from this is the more damage you're going to do to the own genres that be running shit. Because hip-hop's still running shit, regardless if people like it or not. You think Taylor Swift be running this shit? No. Just because she's a pop star and shit don't mean that's like the end-all be-all, because that's no, like, first of all, Taylor Swift ain't got no swagger. She ain't got no swagger. She ain't got no, like, sauce. That's what hip-hop bring. That's what makes everything interesting. That's why hip-hop is its own formula. Shit, it can be an element on a periodic table. That's how great hip-hop is. Because hip-hop amplifies. Hip-hop makes everything great. It makes everything better. So imagine if they actually chopped up the genres and created the proper subgenres. Do you understand how elite hip-hop would be? Can we talk about, do you understand how elite we would be? We would be eating so good, because now that we can categorize these artists, they can start to win in their own lanes. That's the key. That's what needs to happen. But they don't want more winners for some reason. Y'all just want to bleed everybody dry. That greed that y'all have, it needs to switch up, because it's only burning down the house. And y'all are the ones that's supposed to be maintaining this house. So at this point, it's either y'all switch up and get with the program that's supposed to happen, or you got to get out of your seats. And that's for the industry. No cap. These numbers are getting tired, and the fans are starting to wake up. I'm just saying. Bruh. So, for final thoughts, you damn right you give that shit to Kendrick Lamar. Because out of everybody on here, the accolades that he had in the past year and a half, bruh, if you were to deny a stadium run as a rapper, bro, you're going to have to take yourself to bed. Go hit the showers. Do something. Get out. Plain and simple. But we need to restructure our greats so they can be in positions to win. Kendrick Lamar has positioned himself to win for a very long time. But we need more winners. To have Baby Keem in the same category as Kendrick, I feel like Baby Keem should have been in his own category. So he can win. So he can get an award. And this is BET we talking about too. Let's be honest. This BET we talking about. Everybody should be winning. We need more winners. The reason why all these people out there are fed up is because they keep doing the same winner. But it's not his fault he keeps winning. That's it. You know?